Welcome to another video from ExplainingComputers.com. This time it's another of our twice yearly channel updates, and as usual in one of these update videos I think I'll start out by transporting myself to another location. Greetings! Here I now am at the workbench at which I record most Explaining Computers content, and just before we look ahead to exciting new things coming up on the channel, I thought we'd look back at what's been going on in the first half of 2022. And to do that I thought we'd use a computer. I've got one over here, that's rather handy, isn't it? And if I press this magic button down here like this, here we are on the Explaining Computers YouTube channel, where the first video of 2022 was this one, the third episode of my Linux Survival Guide, which sadly wasn't as popular as the early editions in the Linux Survival Guide. And since then I've done a lot of individual videos, as you would guess, things like a video here on image file formats, AI and a Raspberry Pi, things like that. But there's also been a few themes on the channel this year so far. There was a theme around 3D printing, down here and over here. And sadly those videos weren't as popular as I hoped they would be. I've also done various hardware upgrade videos, specifically a video on CPU upgrade and two on making a PC quieter, which worked very well in terms of the final result. We're actually using that quieter PC right now and it is very quiet, but views on these videos again have been disappointing. In the past, where I've made videos around hardware upgrades or building a PC, I've had hundreds of thousands of views, and clearly these videos aren't in that category. More successfully, there's been a theme around RISC-V, a couple of RISC-V SBCs and an old general RISC-V video. They've worked pretty well, and I've had videos on things like Linux distributions, as you would expect. But the general trend, unfortunately, has been one of falling views across the past 6 months and more generally. And just to give you an idea about that, I looked at the statistics this morning, and in the last 28 days this channel's done about 800,000 views. And that's roughly half as many views in the 28-day period as the channel was doing across the whole of 2020. So clearly something is going on. Now, I'm aware that many YouTubers seem to be reporting this type of issue, views falling for reasons they can't quite understand. Maybe the algorithm keeps changing. And I'm also aware that with issues of supplies we still have in the computer supply chain, that might be an issue as well. If people can't get hold of components, or components are very expensive, they're less likely to want to upgrade a PC or do a project, and that might be affecting demand for the videos like I make on this channel. But whatever the issue is, I have to think about it, I have to rise positively to the challenge to keep this channel viable, and so that's what I'm going to talk about in the next segment of this video. So, what am I going to do with Explaining Computers? Well, that's a question I've been asking myself for quite a long while now, and the first answer to say is that at least for the next 6 months, nothing fundamental is going to happen. I'm going to continue to make a video every Sunday, as I have for the past 6.5 years, and I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting. I'm going to experiment with a little bit of maybe a bit shorter content. My videos have been getting a bit long maybe, too much detail in them. Maybe should be split into more episodes or something, I don't know. You might have noticed the last 2 videos were slightly shorter, just under 13 minutes rather than getting on towards about 18-ish of many videos recently. So maybe that's an issue. I should be making slightly shorter content, I will see. I have been experimenting a bit with thumbnails. I might continue to do that. Although to be honest, it seems to me, if you look at the data and the views and things, it is the title of the video and its subject that really matters. I've never got into the game of doing clickbait stuff here on YouTube. Maybe I should have done, but I'm not going to. It's not my style. And I've also never got into doing sponsored content, although I get offered many sponsorship deals. And I've never used mid-roll adverts in my videos. And of course, not having mid-roll adverts and having sponsorship deals means it's more difficult to make the channel commercially viable. The channel has worked very well for a long time now based upon the income from advertising, from YouTube advertising and from people who pay for the YouTube premium subscription. That all comes to me, that works very well. But I now need to find other ways to make things work. And you might be saying, well, you should use mid-roll adverts and you should do sponsorship deals. And I was watching a YouTube video for one of my favourite creators last night. I often watch YouTube at the end of the day on my television, and I watched a 15-minute video, very, very good video. And during that video, there were 2 mid-roll advert breaks came up, and there was a sponsor integration where the host had to read out a script from the sponsor, made him look ridiculous and the sponsor, but that's the game, that's how people do it. And I thought, I really don't want to do that. You know, I am here on YouTube to be a filmmaker and an educator. That's what I was doing long before I was doing YouTube. And if I can't continue with that on YouTube without putting lots of interruption into my videos that I wouldn't want to watch myself, I'd probably go off and do something else with my life rather than go that route. At least that's my thinking at the moment. But I do need to find some ways to increase a bit anyway the income I get from this channel if I'm going to continue to make content in the way I'm currently making content. So what am I going to do? Well, if we go across the computer like this, first thing is, as you may have seen already, I have launched an Amazon.com storefront on Amazon.com where there's various products here, and I'm sure you know the score. If you actually purchase a product by using a link here, then I get an affiliate payment. You don't pay any more, but it does help out the channel a bit. And if you're wondering why I do it on Amazon.com when I'm in the UK, it is because there are 3 times more viewers of this channel in the US than there are in the UK, so it's the place I've started. I might do something on Amazon.co.uk and others as well. And hopefully what I've done here will be useful to people, because it means when I mention things on the channel and use things in projects, I'm putting them onto the Amazon storefront, so you can always find the things I use in all sorts of different videos. I hope that is a useful thing, whether or not you shop on Amazon.com, just to have access to the things I use. People are always saying, where did you get that plastic stuff or those little zip ties or whatever? And they're all here on the Amazon storefront. Second thing I've done is I've launched some new merch, which is over here. I've been asked for quite a while now by people, why does Stanley the Knife not appear on a t-shirt or a mug or something? He now does. I've got a new sticker, I've got some new t-shirts with Stanley on, as you can see. There's a new mug as well, but it won't appear here today for reasons I'm not quite clear about, but there it is. Look, there's an exciting new mug with Stanley and Mr. Scissors on the front and also Mr. Scissors on the back. So I've got more merch if you're interested in that. And the final thing I've done, at least for now, more radically, is I've turned on channel memberships. So you can now become a member of the Explaining Computers YouTube channel. And just to show you that, if we go back across to the computer, oh, I've not turned you on. There we are, you can see the screen now. And as you can see, there's now a join button for Explaining Computers. And if you click the join button, I tell you in a video all about memberships on Explaining Computers. But as we're in another video, I think we'll do it in this one rather than that one. It gets very confusing. And basically, what you get if you become a channel member is you get the standard channel membership stuff for your monthly subscription. You get custom emojis, you get loyalty badges. But I think you should get more than that. And so you'll also get member-only community tab posts roughly once a week, behind the scenes content, and maybe bits of computing news and comment on that type of thing. And you'll also get roughly once a month a member-only video. And these videos are not quite the same as my Sunday videos. The public videos are a bit more informal, not quite as long. They're more like me today, sitting here, going over to a computer, doing stuff like that. And they really sort of expand in many ways on things I'm doing in other videos, the content I haven't got time to fit in and talk about, or their behind-the-scenes stuff, something like that. And I've already made 3 member-only videos. They're already there. So if you join now, you'll find there's content to be going on with on the channel. And I do appreciate that not everyone will want to become a channel member. The vast majority of you probably don't want to become a channel member. Not everyone can afford to be a channel member. I have tried to price at the lower end of a channel member price stakes compared to many other channels. And really, I just want to stress that for the vast majority of people I know will never become a channel member or are interested in this, I'm doing this to keep the channel financially viable, to allow people who wish to support the channel, who can support the channel, to have a means of doing it. People who want to access a bit of extra content in exchange for that, they can do so. But nothing else will change. As I said already, for the foreseeable future, my Sunday videos will continue exactly as they have, maybe slightly shorter, but we'll see how that goes. And so With all that said, you now understand what is going on behind the scenes with the channel as I try to keep this business going. So let's now look ahead to what is coming up in the future here on Explaining Computers. So, what am I planning on delighting you with on the channel in the next 6 months? Well, for a start, there'll be Linux videos, not least Linux Mint 21 is launching fairly soon. That's my daily driver distro, so I'm very much looking forward to reviewing Linux Mint 21. I'm also planning some content on Linux networking because lots of you keep asking in the comments about networking in Linux. What else you cry? Well, if I look down to my copious notes on this device, I can tell you I'm planning content on video editors. It's been a while since I've looked at the state of play in terms of free video editors and related applications in both Windows and Linux, so I'm going to be doing that. And also coming up fairly soon will be my annual quantum computing update. I've been doing an update on quantum computing every year on my channel for 5 or 6 years now. That'll be coming up, as I say, fairly soon. There will be content on single board computers. I tend to make an SBC video here now roughly every third video rather than every second, but I'll keep that under review. It depends on ideas I've got for projects and what hardware becomes available. And talking of new hardware, I'm very much looking forward to reviewing the Rock 5B because it's got an RK3588 system on a chip, octa-core chip there with a 4 A76 cores, 4 A55 cores. We should get a very good experience on the desktop on the Rock 5B when it's released. And you might remember recently I looked at the Vim 4, also gave us a very good desktop experience in ARM. And I think it's important to keep an eye on what's going on in that area, not just in terms of looking at SBCs for SBC's sake, if you like, from themselves, but also it tells us about where the market is headed. We know Apple's already gone ARM, and I think the more we see SBCs being developed with powerful ARM processors, people running good desktops, that could tell us about the future of computing more generally, at least in certain parts of the marketplace. I will be doing Raspberry Pi projects, although I'm not going to tell you what they are. I've got lots of ideas, but I'm not going to share them with my competitors in this update right now. But what I will tell you about is a video coming up, hopefully next week, a video called Explaining Desktop PC Hardware. And this is a video I started planning, I opened the script for 12 years ago. It's taken me a while to get around to finishing this video. And the reason is, this is a video in which I explain desktop PC hardware entirely using 3D computer graphics. And so what I've done is to build in 3D to a high level of detail a computer motherboard, processor, cooler, memory, case, power supply, all that stuff, so I can explain desktop PC hardware in a slightly different way to how I've covered it in the past, hopefully in a very visually interesting way. Anyway, that is what's coming up, so all that remains me to say in this update is thanks greatly for continuing to watch the channel, for subscribing, for liking videos, leaving comments. All the engagement really matters. Thanks to those of you who've given me super thanks contributions in the past 6 months, that's very much appreciated. And if any of you want to now become a channel member, well, I talked about that earlier on. But now that's it for another video. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, please press that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I hope to talk to you again very soon.